Good evening and welcome to Municipal Special Council meeting of the District of Lunenburg on Tuesday, March 31st. It's Budget Day. And welcome those who are watching and our staff and council members to the meeting. So I'll call the meeting to order and acknowledge that we are in Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral territory of the Mi'kmaq people, and we are privileged to share the land with them. This is an opportunity for public input, and we have no one in the gallery tonight, but I do encourage people to participate in their municipal government if they wish to attend. We always leave time at the beginning of the meeting for people to provide comments, questions, concerns that they may have, and we encourage people to participate in that. I do want to acknowledge April sitting next to me, who celebrates a birthday tomorrow. Not that we want to make it public, but we just did. Happy birthday. I hope you enjoy your day.
I will.
Good, good. So we are tonight, our budget, it is budget night. I am not wearing new shoes. They are old shoes from King Street Shoes here in downtown Bridgewater, and the CAO has new shoes, and new socks, he tells me, and a haircut. So he's prepared. And a tie. So we're recognizing that tonight is an important night. And I'm pleased to introduce the municipality of the District of Lunenburg's 2026-2027 budget. A municipal budget is one of the most important things council does each year. It's where our priorities become real, where we decide how to invest in our communities, support our residents, and plan responsibly for the future. This year's budget process started back in October with some clear direction. Council asked staff to work within a framework of no tax rate increase, no additional staffing, and a realistic approach to dealing with inflation. At the same time, we recognized that savings through the Extended Producer Responsibility Program created an opportunity to invest in new services and projects that align with our strategic goals. In November, Council revisited those strategic priorities, and that work really helped shape this budget. We've continued our approach of setting clear funding envelopes for major projects, particularly for parks and recreation, so that we're not just imagining possibilities, but managing them within defined financial limits. That discipline is helping us move important projects forward in a thoughtful and sustainable way. One of our key priorities, improving mobility and accessibility, has driven our continued investment in public transit. This year, we formally moved transit into our operating budget, recognizing that it's now a core service that we will support year after year. We've also reached agreement on how to go ahead and share capital cost, including the purchase of buses with our partner, the town of Bridgewater. And those details will be finalized over the next period of time. Supporting growth and the necessary infrastructure is another central priority, and nothing reflects that more than the Cookeville wastewater expansion. At $24.5 million, it's the largest infrastructure project in our municipality's history. I'm pleased to say it's ahead of schedule and within budget, with more than $16 million secured through grants. Council has made the decision to finance the remaining costs through borrowing, spreading that investment over 15 years, so that both current and future residents share in the cost of a system they will all benefit from. This is a prudent and responsible approach, and we are in a strong financial position to manage it. You'll also see continued investment in community spaces, our parks, trails, and waterfronts. Projects at the Mark, Saw Pit Wharf, Miller Point Peace Park, and Mushamush Beach Park are all moving forward. We're also continuing our support for local trail groups. Their volunteer efforts are invaluable, and quite frankly, without them, we simply wouldn't have the trail network we enjoy today. We are also making some difficult but necessary decisions. After extensive efforts to find new use, Central School will be demolished. It has become both a safety concern and an ongoing cost to taxpayers, and this is definitely the right step to take now. Affordability remains top of mind. While we have held the tax rate, assessment increases of 2.6% mean the average homeowner will see about a $54 increase on their property tax, which is just over $1 a week. At the same time, we are expanding targeted support for those who need it most, with $650,000 committed to our property tax rebate program. We're also preparing for the realities of climate change and its impact on our residents. That includes funding for water programs, a public water filling station, and support for well and water system upgrades, as we anticipate continued drought conditions, maybe not next year, but certainly in the years to come. Our climate resilience work continues through clean energy financing and efforts to address impacts like the hemlock woolly adelgid in our park forests. Supporting vulnerable residents and improving quality of life across the district is another priority reflected in this budget. We are continuing support for programs like Lunenburg County Wheels and the Senior Safety Program, and introducing new grants for food banks in New Germany, Lunenburg, and Bridgewater. We are also strengthening partnerships, whether it's expanding transit with the town of Bridgewater or working with the South Shore Regional Library to deliver programming at the Well Tide building. These partnerships allow us to do more and to do it better. Our investment in extending the library services comes at a time when many libraries are struggling to keep their hours and their services. We are very pleased to create a great community space which we anticipate will be well used in the years to come. Finally, we remain committed to improved access to information and services from the municipality, whether it's attending council meetings in person, watching them online, or using our growing digital tools like the tax bill portal and building permit portals. We are making it easier for residents to connect with their municipality. At its core, this budget is about balance. It supports the needs of today, investing in infrastructure, services, and community well-being, while also preparing for the growth we know is coming. It reflects a council that is focused, disciplined in its spending, and guided by clear strategic priorities. Thank you, and now I will happy to turn it over to Ms. Wenzel for the presentation of the 2026-2027 budget.
Thank you, Mayor McLean-Weil, and good evening, Municipal Council. It is my pleasure to introduce the proposed 2026-2027 operating and capital budget details for the municipality, the District of Lunenburg. The primary goal of a budget is to have realistic, achievable financial plan that enables the municipality to achieve specific outcomes. The Municipal Government Act requires municipalities to annually approve a balanced budget. It is, however, also incumbent upon us to demonstrate responsible stewardship with respect to the financial resources that our citizens entrust in us. For example, do we have a responsible plan, and do we do what we said we would do? The proposed budget is balanced, it is based on a responsible plan, and we will be able to demonstrate our continued success. Property rates remain unchanged from last year, and there is a balanced plan to address the needs of our residents. Staff work to operationalize the Council's strategic priorities. This budget includes programs that support residents through rising costs and social challenges to address quality of life, affordability, and social inclusion. Infrastructure upgrades, expansion, and management will support our growing municipality through planned investment and asset management. Municipal Council is investing in initiatives that strengthen the regional economy and prepare for future growth. Climate change action is addressed by helping residents improve efficiency and building long-term climate resilience throughout the municipality. As well, we are strengthening public engagement and improving resident access to services and information. The 2026-2027 budget totals $49 million. There are no changes to tax rates, and services to residents have been expanded and improved to create efficiencies. The Capital Budget and Canada Community Building Fund, or CCBF, investment totals $33.2 million, which includes major upgrades and expansion of wastewater and recreation infrastructure. As we move through this presentation, we will discuss these exciting changes. The proposed residential tax rate is 81 cents per $100 of assessment. The proposed commercial tax rate is 1.957 cents per $100 of assessment. The proposed commercial seasonal tax rate is 1.468 per $100 of assessment. All of these tax rates are unchanged from the previous year. As well, the sewer rates remain unchanged. Streetlight rates are adjusted annually to recover actual costs, as are the hydrant rates. The average property tax bill in our district is $2,065. Based on the Financial Condition Index, which we will look at later on, the municipality's residential tax effort totals 2.5% of the median household income in our district. Because 89% of our residential assessment accounts are capped, which are 13,130 of the 14,725 residential property accounts with dwellings in our district, taxpayers will see an increase of 2.6%, which is the cap rate based on the Nova Scotia CPI, providing tax rate stability and predictability to our residents. Municipal Council understands that costs are increasing for all residents. Instead of reducing the tax rate, funds equal to 1.5 cent tax rate reduction have been budgeted in the property tax rebate program. This is a targeted tax relief strategy that will put funds back in the hands of residents who need it the most, families with lower incomes and senior citizens. The rebates for 2026-27 are: for incomes under $31,700, a maximum rebate value of up to $700. For incomes between $31,701 and $46,400, a maximum rebate value of up to $490. And for incomes between $46,401 and $61,860, a maximum rebate value of up to $280. Looking back over the past fiscal year, there are several successes from Council's 2026 budget plan that have helped achieve their strategic goals. Municipal Council is working diligently to build the local economy. The community hub space will be part of the Well-Tide building in Osprey Village. A housing strategy was completed to inform future development. Regional growth happens through collaboration among municipalities. The municipality established a joint committee with our municipal neighbors to speed up collaboration on infrastructure and initiatives that will help grow the economy in our region. In addition to the Cookville wastewater treatment plant upgrades that will permit high-density housing, the installation of a backup power generator for the Nathan Cirillo pump station in Cookville ensures continuity for this necessary service. Council is committed to maintaining and upgrading our recreation assets. The ball fields have upgraded fencing and dugouts, and an accessible kayak launch was installed at the Miller Point Peace Park. The Indian Falls Park has been made accessible by creating accessible pathways and the installation of accessible vault toilets. The municipality continues to support the various trail groups and has allocated last year $642 per kilometer to support over 120 kilometers of multi-use trails in the district. We have partnered with Energy Efficiency Nova Scotia through the Roving Energy Manager Program to improve energy efficiency and reduce utility costs for municipal buildings and community fire halls across the region. Energy audits were completed at 10 fire halls, and the municipality is now supporting the implementation of those recommended upgrades. We are combating the invasive hemlock woolly adelgid by identifying with plans to inoculate hemlock trees in municipal parks and forests. This is a multi-year project to address the issue and treat our native hemlock trees. As well, a project was undertaken to identify and map the environmentally significant areas in our district. The e-permit system for building development and zoning permits will create greater efficiencies for permit processing and ease of use for applicants. The watershed data collection project is now complete. The project identified data gaps in the flood risk mapping, deployed climate gauges, collected new hydraulic structure data, and collected cross-section profiles to support future municipal floodline mapping. With Nova Scotia facing more wildfire risks, tipping fees for brush were eliminated so communities can become fire smart. These projects are significant as Council continues to work at addressing climate change. Council has been committed to investing in healthy and active lifestyles in our community. The water supply upgrade financing program was developed to address the dry well situation in our district. 23 homeowners have completed the program this year, and another 37 applications are in process. Lunenburg County Wheels provides a much-needed local transit service for our municipal residents. ProKids is a program that removes financial barriers to ensure all children in our municipality have an opportunity to participate in sport, recreational, and cultural activities. And ProFund aids our adult population in the same manner. Council is passionate about engaging residents and building a strong community fabric. A District of Lunenburg app was developed and is now available for all residents. Public engagement sessions were expanded to hear directly from residents about new rules for all property owners as we write new zoning regulations. Council and council committee meetings are now broadcast live via our YouTube channel. The format of our Municipal Matters newsletter was changed to offer more space for municipal and community news. Council should be congratulated on the accomplishment of these strategic priorities. Because the majority of revenues generated are from property taxes, staff look at the assessment roll and trends to determine future revenue growth in our district. We have seen an increase in the market assessment values of properties in recent years and continue to see growth. This year, residential assessment values are up 7.8%, and commercial values are up 2.2%. Deed transfer tax revenue fluctuates from year to year. Staff continue to budget conservatively for this revenue source. Deed transfer tax can be also used as an economic indicator. The municipality charges a 1.25% deed transfer tax on all property sales. Deed transfer tax collected is an indication that the real estate markets continue to be strong in our area. As mentioned earlier, it is the responsibility of our municipality to operate within the budget approved by Municipal Council. The province has developed financial indicators called the Financial Condition Index that help a municipal government assess their overall financial position. The province recently released the indicators for the 2023-2024 fiscal year. Municipal governments are evaluated on a set of 12 indicators based on benchmark thresholds. Our municipality performs better than the benchmark on all 12 indicators, including excellent scores for reserves, deficits, uncollected taxes, capital assets, and growth in tax base. We will now move on to the details of the 2026-2027 budget. A key factor in developing the municipal budget is the amount of expenditures which are already predetermined. The provincial government legislates that municipalities must contribute property taxes to the province to support education, assessment services, and libraries, as well as RCMP for policing services. This equates to 39% of all municipal expenditures. Another 5% is committed towards mandatory expenses which the district must make, which include maintenance of municipal and provincial roads, waste collection costs, and reserve transfers. This leaves 55% for municipal expenditures, which are available for other community and council priorities. The education rate is estimated at 38 cents per $100 of uniform assessment. Thus, those costs are increased due to an increase in our uniform assessment across the district. Assessment services costs are estimated to increase 3.1%. A change in provincial legislation has removed the requirement for municipalities to contribute to correction services and provincial regional housing. Municipal contributions to libraries are set under a provincial funding formula, which sees no increase this year. We have estimated that RCMP costs will increase 6.4%. This gives us an expected overall increase of about 5.39% for these costs. The budget summary details the actual spent in 2024-25, the 2025-26 approved budget, and how we get to the 2026-27 draft budget. If you look at the top across this slide, the adjusted baseline is our preliminary budget. We add or subtract recommended additions and deletions. The proposed budget is the baseline plus recommended net additions. The percent change over the prior year is on the far right of the table. The column on the left includes the following budget categories: gross expenditures, which are expenditures before revenues subtracted; non-tax revenue is interest on investment and taxes; administration and permit charges; rental income; application fees, and other service charges. Net expenditures are the difference between gross expenditures and non-tax revenue. Tax revenue is the amount to be funded through property taxes. This year, our draft budget is balanced, with no surplus or deficit projected. The next slides that we will be looking at highlight the major budget areas for our municipality. We will be discussing the adjusted baseline and additions, which are the middle two columns highlighted on this slide. So the expenditures are separated into different services or departments. That's based on the FRAM legislation, or the financial reporting legislation that we have. So general government services, including council, administration, grants, and assessment services, have increased by 3.7% and are budgeted at $7.8 million. There are increases for grants to community organizations in this budget line. Protective services, including police, fire protection, building inspection, regional emergency measures, and animal control, increased by 9% and are budgeted at $13 million. Increases include a funded position for emergency management. Transportation services, including municipal roads, service exchange roads, and street lighting, increased by 6.5% and are budgeted at $2.8 million. Additions include new private road maintenance areas for which rates are collected from the adjacent homeowners. Or landowners, excuse me. Environmental health, including sewage treatment and solid waste management, decreased by 3.65% and are budgeted at $4.3 million. This includes an increase for the new waste collection contract that's offset by the removal of tipping fees on recyclables due to the new extended producer responsibility contract. Environmental planning and zoning, which includes planning and development, as well as economic development, increased by 34% and is budgeted at $6.7 million. The additions include the fit-up costs and operations of our community hub. Recreation services, which include in-house expenditures, as well as the LCLC and libraries, increased by 9.1% and are budgeted at $3.8 million. This leads us to a total budget which includes $49,875,600 in expenditures, a 6.82% increase from the last year. The adjusted baseline has been adjusted by $1.1 million, $1.174,500, with a $1.145,700 in net additions, which have been used to enhance services and asset management. We'll discuss these changes on the following slides. Under administrative services, a summer student will be hired to research population employment and labor force demands. In protective services, a grant was received to hire a fire smart coordinator. Engineering will utilize a summer student and have adjusted costs for asset management, or maintenance, excuse me. The planning department has made adjustments for private roads, addressing infected hemlock trees, and investing in expanded public transit services. Economic development has added the operation of the community hub, including a partnership with the Social Regional Library and the completion of the Regional Economic Development Project. The Recreation Department will be expanding grants to the town of Lunenburg and the Broad Cove Community Association. The Finance Department will invest in a privacy officer shared service and has increased transfers for asset management. These investments in expanded services, grants, and asset management total $1.145,700. The majority of the municipality's revenue is raised through property taxes. Area rates are set to support operating costs like fire protection, street lights, and sewer operations. As well, detransfer taxes on the sale of property help offset the revenue required to be raised through the general property tax rate. Non-tax revenue consists of interest on investments and taxes, rental income, and fees for services, including regional emergency management services, shared building inspection services, recreation programs, and licenses and permits. Sewer rates are set so that the users of the system cover the cost of the wastewater treatment and collection. Hydrant rates are decreased based on the cost of the service spread over the property served by the hydrants. The Headville Village Commission collects a $10 flat fee per property, which must be annually approved by Municipal Council. Each year, the municipality levies a street light rate on tax bills to pay for the cost of streetlights in the areas that are served by them. This cost is shared by the property owners in the designated streetlight area. Because these values change on an annual basis, an over-collection or under-collection of streetlight charges can occur. This amount is carried forward to the streetlight account when determining the budgeted streetlight rate for the next year. As a result, some streetlight charges have changed. These rates have been approved by Council. The 5-year financial strategy forecasting model shows that Council's priority of providing stable tax rates while investing in expanded services like recreation, economic development, housing initiatives, and renewing wastewater infrastructure is achievable and affordable. The district's reserve funds consist of operating and capital reserves. The reserve funds are used to help Council meet strategic priorities without affecting the tax rate. The operating reserve fund includes reserves derived from operating budget surpluses, as well as amounts set aside for depreciation and sewer reserves. Operating reserves are an allocation of revenue set aside at the discretion of Council to provide for future expenditure requirements such as infrastructure replacement. Operating reserves may be established for any municipal purpose, such as working funds, contingencies, and asset replacement. The use of reserves assists a municipality in maintaining its financial position. Operating reserves are more flexible in how they can be used compared to capital reserves. Capital reserve funds are segregated and restricted to meet a specific identified purpose. They are established through a bylaw of Council or by a requirement of provincial legislation. The Canada Community Building Fund, or CCBF, is a capital reserve which is further restricted as specific criteria must be met in order to spend it. The 5-year financial strategy includes a projection for reserves. The red line on this graph represents the financial condition index threshold for operating reserves, which are the dark blue bars on this graph. The financial model in the strategy helps to ensure that we are keeping adequate reserves by giving us this 5-year projection. The FCI threshold for operating reserves is set at 10% of operating expenditures. It measures whether the municipality has set aside sufficient funds to help mitigate any unforeseen risks or future needs. The 5-year capital plan includes $60.8 million in capital projects. After grants and third-party contributions, the projected net cost to the municipality is $27.9 million, with $9.5 million in capital borrowing. As part of our financial strategy, we continue to look for additional grants for projects and would only borrow for those projects that have a long lifespan, like wastewater treatment. The municipality has budgeted $32,213,600 on capital expenditures and CCBF investment in 26-27. Because we have leveraged grants and other sources of funding, the municipality will be investing 40 cents of its own funds on every capital project dollar spent. The capital budget includes the implementation of the tax bill portal coming up in April 2026. This will increase accessibility and efficiency for residents, where they will be able to view and pay their tax bills online. The Cookeville wastewater treatment plant expansion will continue as we move closer to completion of this project. There are funds available for a Jubilee Road sewer expansion and continued asset maintenance of the other wastewater infrastructure. Construction of the Osprey Village Sidewalk and Enhancement Project will commence this fiscal year, which includes street and traffic lights for the safety of both pedestrians and vehicles. A placeholder for paving for municipal roads is included for any available partnerships with Nova Scotia Public Works when roads identified by Council are considered by the province for paving. The center school building has been identified as an environmental and public risk and will be demolished in this fiscal year. A permanent water fill station will be constructed at the Municipal Administration Building to give residents access to water when drought occurs. Building inspection services will be replacing 2 aged vehicles for the Regional Building Inspection Service. The land conservation strategy will be completed, and a placeholder for land purchases from the Sustainability Reserve is also included. Replacement of assets and asset management continues in the Recreation Department. The Mark is a regional park and will see substantial upgrades, including a building replacement, expansion of the disc golf course, and an accessible playground. The outdoor pickleball courts will be completed. Miller Point Peace Park will have an accessible trail network. The wooden playground structures at the River Ridge Common Park will be repaired and replaced, and investment in the Riverport Area Park will continue. The Saw Pit Wharf Destination Park will see new water and land features with the implementation of the concept plan. Mushmarks Park will receive a new vault washrooms as well as a road upgrade. Other park roads will be upgraded, including Miller Point and United Communities. Trail groups continue to be supported with CCBF funds to address ongoing capital repairs to the 120 kilometers of multi-use trails managed by these volunteers. Completion of the internal wayfinding project will ensure that municipal parks and trails are easy to find for residents and visitors. Thank you for taking the time to review the draft 2026-2027 budget this evening. The budget is Council's single most important policy document. This year's budget continues a tradition of strong financial management in the municipality of the District of Lunenburg. The proposed budget hits key targets of Council, including the keeping tax rates constant, providing funding and resources to address its strategic priorities, continuing to provide the high level of service expected by our residents, and providing a budget that is responsive to our residents' needs. We'll now move on to the required motions.
Okay, I think the first thing we should do is put the first motion on the floor, and then if there's questions regarding any of the presentation, that would be the appropriate time. So, Deputy Mayor Vino, would you like to put the motion on the floor?
Sure, thank you very much. To Mayor McLean-Weil and members of council, I move that Municipal Council approve the 2026-2027 operating budget in the amount of $49,875,600, and I so move.
And a seconder, seconded by Councillor Bell. I know there's been a number of meetings where we've discussed various aspects of the operating budget, but if there are questions that are still lingering for council members, now would be the time. Any questions? We've talked ourselves out. Councillor Smith, not quite.
The Fire Smart grant coordinator, is that new? Like that we have actually gotten the funding? I seem to have remembered that it was pending.
Yes. It's, excuse me, the position is conditional on funding, and we have received positive informal word, but no formal communications to date.
Any other questions? One last time. Anything else? All those in favor of accepting the motion as presented to accept the 2026-2027 operating budget indicate by raising their hand. Motion is carried unanimously. The second motion that needs to be tabled, would someone put that on the floor, please? Residential tax rate. Councillor Hubley.
To Mayor McLean-Weil and members of council, I move that Municipal Council approve the 2026-2027 residential tax rate at 81 cents per $100 of assessment, and I so move.
And a seconder for the motion, seconded by Councillor Moore. Is there discussion on the motion? Councillor Bell.
Question, please, to Ms. Wenzel, through you. The 81 cents per $100 of assessment, How many years in a row has that? Oh, okay, I'm sorry to put you on the spot.
Through to your worship, to Councillor Bell, it's 16 years.
Further discussion or question? All those in favor of adopting the residential tax rate indicate by raising their hand. Motion is carried unanimously. Would someone propose the commercial tax rate, please? Councillor Burns.
To Mayor McLean-Weil and members of council, I move that municipal council approve the 2026-2027 commercial tax rate of $1.95.7, $1.957 per $100 of assessment.
And a seconder for the motion, seconded by Councillor Smith. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor signify by raising their hand. Motion is carried unanimously. Would someone propose the seasonal commercial tax rate, please? Councillor Smith.
To Mayor McLean-Weil and members of council, I move that municipal council approve the 2026-2027 seasonal commercial tax rate at $1.468 per $100 of assessment.
And a seconder for the motion, please. Seconded by Councillor Reinhardt. Is there discussion on the motion? Maybe just for clarification, it might be useful just to define what seasonal commercial rate applies to, just for the record.
Yes, certainly, Your Worship. So the seasonal commercial tax rate is done by application by any business or any seasonal business as indicated or as legislated in the Assessment Act. So it's an assessment-based thing. If you are, I think it's 60% operational in the year, you can apply for this rate. It has to be applied for annually. I think the due date is in September, and it's equal to 75% of the commercial tax rate.
Would someone, we have that on the floor. Is there any question, discussion on the motion? All those in favor signify by raising their hand. Motion is carried unanimously. We'll move on to the flat rates for the Village of Hebbville for the village funding of the Village Commission. Councillor Oikel.
To Mayor McLean-Weil and members of council, I move that municipal council approve the 2026-2027 flat fee rate, area rate of $10 per residential and commercial property in the Village of Hebbville on behalf of the Village Commission, and I so move.
And a seconder for the motion, seconded by Councillor Hubley. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor signify by raising their hand. Motion is carried unanimously. And the motion regarding the sewer rate for Hebbville and the global sewer rate, would someone propose? Councillor Moore?
To Mayor McLean-Weil and members of council, I move that municipal council approve the 2026-27 sewer rate at 43 cents per $100 of assessment for the global sewer rate and 25 cents per $100 of assessment for the Hebbville sewer rate.
And a seconder, seconded by Councillor Bell. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor signify by raising their hands. Motion is carried unanimously. And a move to the capital budget. Would someone propose that? Councillor Reinhardt.
To Mayor McLean-Weil and members of council, I move that municipal council approve the 2026-2027 capital budget and the Canada Community Building Fund investment in the amount of $32,213,600. And further, that the 5-year capital plan be approved as presented.
And a seconder for the motion, Deputy Mayor Vino. Is there discussion on the motion? Any discussion? All those in favor signify by raising their hand. Motion is carried unanimously. And the final motion related to the budget process is regard to the reserve budget and the reserve transfers. Would someone make that motion, please? Councillor Bell.
To Mayor McLean Weil and members of council, I move that municipal council approve the reserve transfer as noted in the 2026-2027 operating and capital budgets. I so move.
And a seconder for the motion, seconded by Councillor Moore. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor signify by raising their hand. Motion is carried unanimously. Thank you. I should have mentioned that we did have regrets from Councillor Brooks and Councillor DeLong, just for the record. So I'll turn it back to Ms. Wenzel.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'd like to acknowledge that this budget is a collaborative effort amongst council and staff. And I'd like to especially thank all municipal councillors and our strategic management team of our CAO, Tom McEwen, our deputy CAO, Alex Demerick, our directors, Trudy Payne, Jeff Merrill, Stephen Pace, Dave Waters, as well as our accounting manager, Angela Vino, and our communications officer, Sherry Turner. As we conclude the budget proceedings tonight, we would like to share the following video, which will be available on our municipal website.
Everyone, I'm Mayor Elspeth McLean Weil, and I want to give you a quick update on our municipal budget and what it means for our community. Thanks to careful planning, the District of Lunenburg has a balanced and responsible budget for 2026-2027. Our tax rate has not changed, but you will see an increase in your property tax because assessments have risen 2.6%. For the average homeowner, that works out to about $54 a year more that you'll pay, about $1 a week more in property tax. Extended producer responsibility is now fully in place in our waste system. Through the EPR program, companies that create packaging now have to pay to manage that waste, not the taxpayer. And that shift is bringing in more than $1 million in savings and revenue to the municipality. That's a significant amount of dollars that we then have to invest in infrastructure and programs and services that you rely on, while still covering the mandatory costs for education, for libraries and policing. That makes up about 39% of our budget. Affordability is a key priority for council. Our income-based property tax rebate is available again this year, and we will spend about $650,000 on that program. We're also helping children and adults who may need support to take advantage of our recreation and cultural programs through the Pro Kids and Adults program. We're keeping low-cost loans available for well upgrades, water improvements, and clean energy projects. And we're continuing to support the food banks in New Germany, Bridgewater, and Lunenburg. We're also improving mobility throughout the district with expanded public transit. This year, we're moving forward with a fixed route service for Hebbville, Wildville, and Osprey Village. We're also increasing our support for Lunenburg County Wheels, a really important service for many residents in the outlying areas of our district. And later this year, we'll open a new community programming space and business hub in the Welltide Center just behind the MODL office. Through a new partnership with South Shore Library, this space will allow us to expand library service and programs for the community. This is a really exciting project, and we're proud to be a partner in this venture, a place where people can gather and learn and start new projects and support one another as a community. Council continues to move forward on big priorities for investing. We're investing in the Cookville wastewater expansion, which is the biggest project we've undertaken as a district. There will be a new public water filling station, and we continue to work on a housing strategy that addresses the issues in the community. We're also investing in recreation spaces people use every day. There's upgrades to the Mark, to Sawpit Wharf and Miller Point Peace Park, and improvements to parks and trails across MODL. We're doing our part to address climate change, offering a clean energy financing program for residents. E-bikes are available for loan, and we're addressing the issue with our hemlock trees. We're making it easier to access services and more efficient for you with a new online tax portal, a regional online building permit system, and more features are being added to the MODL app, along with more engagement in our community. So we have your input on what matters most to you. Creating a budget is challenging, and I want you to know that we are planning carefully and we're investing wisely in building a strong future for the District of Lunenburg. Thank you for your help in putting this budget together.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So on behalf of council, I do want to extend our genuine and sincere thanks for the effort. It is a long process. We weren't as rushed this year as we felt, I think, in our first year as council members. And I think taking time to really dig in and work away at it has allowed us the flexibility to really think about the decisions that we've made. And when I look across the province, I see a lot of people that don't have their budget ready yet. And Tom and I had a chat about, I remember the question, when do you want the budget passed? And I said, well, we can't go into the budget year, April 1st of 2026, without a budget. So here we are on March 31st. We've approved the budget and we're ready to go for the next year. So thank you to all who made that happen. And we look forward to a very exciting year ahead with some really exciting projects and the work that we'll do as a council working with our community. So thank you very much to everyone who contributed to tonight's finale, I will say, for the budget. We have no further business on the agenda, so I will adjourn the meeting.